seen what can happen out there with improper braking.
Boy, sure did.
Yeah.
Now let's see what happens when it's done properly.
With conventional brakes, to avoid skidding, apply threshold braking. In other words, squeeze as much pedal pressure as you can without locking the wheels up in a skid.
To properly brake with ABS, step down firmly and don't take your foot off the pedal, even when you feel it vibrate or hear a thumping or clacking noise. That's normal. What you're experiencing is the anti-lock braking system pumping the brakes for you, many times a second, much faster than you could, all while preventing the wheels from locking up in a skid.
Speaking of pumping the brakes, never pump the pedal of an ABS-equipped vehicle. It can take even longer to stop.
But with all that traction control, couldn't I actually steer around the hazard?
Well, the truth is, with ABS, you do have more control over your vehicle than you do with conventional brakes. So to answer your question, yes, it is often possible to steer carefully around obstacles while braking. But it takes practice and very quick decision-making to do it safely. In just a split second, you have to answer several critical questions. Is there enough room to get around the object safely? What if the vehicle or hazard makes a sudden move while you're steering around it? Do I have another escape route? Would it be safer to use all of the available traction for straight-line braking? Then once those questions are answered, there's still one more. Will I be able to steer calmly and gently around the object without panicking? The danger in combining steering with emergency braking comes when human nature steps in. When a driver panics and jerks the wheel sharply away from danger, often into even more danger.
Many drivers who experience ABS brakes in action for the first time, surprised by the pulsation of the pedal, react by lifting their foot. That's about as effective as having no brakes at all.
Imagine that combination of jerking the wheel and letting up off the brakes at highway speeds.
Ouch.
Well, is there any way to know what ABS brakes are like without actually getting into an emergency?
Sure. Try it out on a large, empty parking lot. Try it when it's dry and when it's wet or snow-covered. Then try steering while you're braking. You might be surprised at what happens. And an emergency is no place to find out. Of course, the best way to avoid an emergency situation is to stay far enough behind the car in front of you to allow time to react. At least 3 or 4 seconds on dry pavement.
On wet or snow-covered pavement, double your following distance by staying 6 to 8 seconds behind the vehicle you're following. Look for potentially dangerous conditions before they become emergency situations.
The thing is, today's emergency braking technology is great, but it's there only as a last resort when all other efforts to avoid an emergency fail. And then, like any tool, you have to know how to use it properly.
Boy, when it comes to this ABS braking stuff, you guys don't let up.
Exactly.
Huh?
In fact, we have a little something to help you remember what we've shown you here today. Remember, when driving a car with ABS, don't jerk the wheel and don't let up.
With my clients sufficiently enlightened, they returned to my office to put all the pieces together.
Hello, Mr. Straight.
Please, sit down.
Thank you. So when you said earlier that Johnny was a squealer, you meant that he had a tendency to lock up his brakes in a panic.
That's right. When he saw the other car headed at him, he slammed on the brakes. Okay, if your car is equipped with anti-lock brakes, but his car isn't. So he locked him up, breaking the adhesion between the rubber and the road. He lost any effective braking he might have had, and his ability to steer out of the way.
And the other guy that hit us, he had ABS.
But things went awry when he noticed that traffic was stopped ahead of him, probably as a result of not paying close enough attention or by following too closely. He reacted by slamming on his brakes, just like you did, Johnny. The difference here is that his car's anti-lock braking system did exactly what it was supposed to do. It kept the tires from skidding and maximized braking, but he panicked and reverted to old habits. Like you, he jerked the wheel to swerve out of the way, not realizing that with ABS, his car was capable of doing exactly what he told it to do. When he turned the wheel, his car maintained steering ability. So, it swerved violently into the direction he steered it. In this case, right into oncoming traffic, which was you. He's lucky he didn't get himself or someone else killed. Not everyone's so lucky.
But aren't anti-lock brakes still safer than conventional brakes?
They can be. But since more vehicles have been equipped with anti-lock brakes, Some strange things have been happening. It's not that ABS doesn't work. It does. What's not working are old braking and steering habits. Drivers must realize that when they steer while braking in an emergency, while driving an ABS-equipped car, it'll go where they tell it to go.
I'm beginning to see things a lot more clearly now.
I thought you might.
How can we ever repay you?
Well, you can begin by making a sincere effort to break your old braking and steering habits. And spread the word to your friends. The more people know about how to properly operate an ABS-equipped vehicle, the safer we'll all be.
Well, surely we owe you something.
Well, let's just say that I'm cutting you a break on this one.
Okay, Mr. Straight, today I got chocolate, I got honey glazed, I got powdered sugar, powdered glazed maple, I got crullers.